Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon and welcome to our webinar called eBook Essentials Collection Toolkit Strategies for User Engagement. My name is Bonnie Lucia, and today we will be joined by our head eBooks librarian and content product manager, Michelle Astor. Michelle will be taking us through EBSCO's content curation process and how her team builds and designs pre-packaged collections to fit the needs of institutions that maximize patron usage. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. During the presentation, the phones will be muted, but we encourage you to use the chat box located in the lower right-hand corner to type in and submit any questions to us. The presentation will be approximately 20 minutes in length, and we'll leave 10 minutes at the end to answer any of your questions. If we run out of time, Michelle or myself will be sure to get back to you to answer your questions after the presentation. We're also recording the presentation. We'll send that out to folks. Thanks for joining us, and I'll now hand it over to Michelle to take us through her presentation.
Great. Thank you, Bonnie. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar on eBook Essentials and eBook Collection Development. I am Michelle Astor, a Content Product Manager for eBooks here at EBSCO. And just to move on to the quick agenda here, I'll be sharing with you a bit of background on the collection development team here at EBSCO and explore the various eBook collections that we create. And then we'll show you how to easily find these collections for your own browsing and purchasing. So we have 4 librarians here at EBSCO devoted to eBook collection development. In addition to myself, we have John Elwell, Stephanie Buck, and Lauren Forsyth. And as you can see, we all have advanced degrees in library science. John, Steph, and Lauren all graduated from Simmons, and I graduated from the University of Maryland College Park. And combined, we have volunteer and professional collection development experience in various library settings, ranging from community colleges and universities to special libraries, corporate libraries, government research centers, public libraries, historical societies, archives. We really love being in libraries, and we really value being a part of the library community. And additionally, we belong to professional organizations at the state and national levels so that we can stay involved, you know, with the many ideas and conversations and all of the needs that are always being discussed in our community. So even though we may not be in a professional, traditional library setting at the moment, we remain engaged by attending events and following, you know, a lot of the popular personal and professional blogs and forums, and staying up to date on the literature in the library and in the publishing worlds. So we really treat this position here at EBSCO as an opportunity to practice collection development for many different libraries in all the different markets and in different countries. Our goal is to look for and advocate for the content that we know is necessary for libraries across all markets for all of your users. So in addition to following that industry news and conducting our own research on library tools and publishing trends, we work very closely with many departments here at EBSCO to make sure that we're getting your feedback and feedback from your users that helps us inform our decisions regarding the content that we acquire for you and the collections that we develop for you. So the eBook collections that we make, we have 4 basic types, 3 of which I have on this slide here: subject sets, featured collections, and custom collections. We also offer subscriptions, which I will talk about in a little bit. But I would like to start with subject sets. These are some of our most popular eBook collections, and we create them to highlight the best front list content for subject-specific needs. These collections are completely unique. If you've ever talked about them with your reps, that's probably what they tell you the most about them. These are completely unique collections, and the most popular sets get a new edition each year. And that actually accounts for most of the subject sets that we release. Many of these topics warrant a new subject set each year with the amount of quality content that's being produced to support studies in those areas. For others, we might have limited content, and so we'll release a new edition every 2 years or every 18 months. Topics include, as you can see, nursing, education, psychology. We have leadership and management titles, accounting, biology, energy and religion, so many different subjects that we cover. And again, these collections are completely unique across all of the years and also across all of the subjects. So when I say all of the years, I mean that you could purchase the 2013, 2014, and 2015 editions of the nursing subject set, for instance, and know that each subject set will be providing you with new unique titles each time. And when I say unique across subjects, if you were to purchase the 2015 biology subject set and the 2015 energy subject set and the 2015 earth sciences subject sets, you won't be buying the same title twice. We don't include anything in the energy subject set that's in a biology subject set. These are always unique titles. And we select these titles based on several criteria. We look at the award status, we read recommendations, and we look for the positive reviews that's in the respected literature. And we also consider the authoritativeness of the authors and the publishers. We even look at user reviews. We don't consider those quite as valuable as the more authoritative reviews, but we do like to see what readers are saying. And we build these collections to be timely and relevant and high quality. And we also want them to be reasonable. We want you to be able to buy the entire collection if it makes sense for you. And so we price them mostly between $5,000 and $8,000. There might be some more expensive, some less expensive. It does depend on the subject and what we have available. And for when it's necessary to make an individual, title purchase, we try to keep those titles within the collection price below $250 at the list price. And again, there are exceptions. Sometimes there's a title that's more highly priced that we believe is critical to that collection, so we will include it. But mostly we want these to be designed for easy acquisition so that you can just choose the titles you need, or you can purchase the whole collection easily and quickly enhance your ebook holdings with valuable front list titles in really strong subject areas. Featured collections, we design these with a bit broader scope in mind than subject sets. We use both front list and backlist titles, and the lists can be anywhere from 20 titles to 20,000 titles long, which suffice to say, these collections are not unique. We have titles that might appear in 4 or 5 or even 10 collections. These collections give us the opportunity to promote great titles that might be appropriate for several audiences or markets, or support studies in several different subject areas. And we want to make them available to those libraries that have different needs, whose librarians might be searching in different places for the same title. So again, these are not unique, but they are still quality titles from all years that we feel support some of these subjects. And so, like I said, while there's breadth in our approach to featured collections overall, the focus of an individual featured collection might be more specific or topical than a subject set. For instance, we have an engineering subject set that we use to highlight the best front list engineering content unique to all of the other engineering subject sets each year, and that might include civil engineering, biomedical engineering, multidisciplinary. But in addition to that, when you look at the featured collections, you'll find specific engineering fields represented here, such as aerospace, mechanical engineering, pharmaceuticals. So again, these aren't unique and they're not necessarily front list, but the titles you'll find in the featured collections are quality, and the featured collection experience is meant to make browsing easier and more fruitful. So you can enhance your STEM holdings with an engineering subject set, knowing that you're getting those award-winning essential titles, and then you can supplement it with titles from featured collections that specialize in maybe something that your institution is particularly strong in, for instance, an aerospace engineering department. The subject set for engineering may not represent enough content for you, and so you can look into these featured collections to help carry on your search for those more niche subjects. We also make featured collections in response to popular topics, genres, trends. We have an African American History Month featured collection, for example, and we also have featured collections for romance fiction, for sci-fi, thrillers. And as for trends and news topics, we find inspiration not only in the library and the publishing literature, but in the popular media as well. An example would be a response we made with featured collections to a U.S. News and World Report article that was published on the top 10 emerging undergraduate degrees. We realized that this list might end up driving some information needs for these upcoming popular areas of study. So we created 10 correlating collections to support studies in those fields that included data science, biometrics, public health, cybersecurity. We saw that article and we took it as an opportunity to anticipate some information requests that would possibly be coming in response to these new highly focused degree programs. And it was a really great experience for us to see what titles we already had and what was out there for these booming fields. And I mean, no doubt as the students who are in these degrees driving these information needs graduate and move into their professional lives, I'm sure we'll see more and more content that they publish being made available, and we will add these to the collections in the future because featured collections do get updated pretty regularly. Another sort of type of featured collection that's a little bit different from these focused featured collections that we do update monthly because we're continually getting great content for them are these collections for best-selling titles and popular adult fiction and nonfiction titles, award winners, both academic award winners and youth award winners. These collections are hundreds and thousands of titles in length, and they continue to grow. And we hope that these can be particularly helpful when you want to browse our ebook collection, but you might want to limit to these highly regarded titles. We do realize that you may not necessarily want to buy every title in the academic award winner collection, but we also recognize that you might not want to browse the 600,000 plus ebooks that we have either. So we make these collections to help improve the browsing experience for you so you can still search for the quality titles you want, but you'll have far fewer records to sort through. And we're continuing to add collections such as these that help to strategically limit our content. We most recently promoted a collection of choice outstanding academic titles. So in that vein, I would ask you to let me know if there are other collections like this that would be valuable to you in this way, where you can search our content without having to worry about hundreds and thousands of results that may not be as precise as you'd like. And so if subject sets or featured collections that we have aren't meeting your needs, they don't quite have the right content for a subject you're looking for, and as we've discussed, if searching hundreds of thousands of titles isn't quite fitting into your schedule, custom collections might be the perfect fit for you. Working with your EBSCO representative, you can identify the exact subjects you need and identify the right budget for your library. You can specify keywords and authors and publishers, any that you want, and importantly for us, any that you don't want. It always helps us to know what we shouldn't be including. You can limit to titles under a certain price or within a certain range. You can ask for specific languages, publication dates, so on. If you only want titles at the one book, one user access model, or if you only want titles at the unlimited user access model, we can work with that too. These collections are created just for you, for your library, to meet your specific needs, and we really love doing them. it's a great opportunity for us on the collection of development team to discover titles in our collection that we might otherwise overlook. I'm thinking in particular of a collection I did recently for Arctic security studies. I found so many interesting titles that I probably wouldn't have uncovered if we hadn't received that particular request. So it gives us a chance to keep in touch with the specific needs that are being communicated to you, the librarians, from your users. And again, as I mentioned before, in addition to working with the titles that we have, my team advocates for the content that we don't have. We work to find the titles that we still need. So please ask your representative for any ebook need that comes up, because if it doesn't seem to be met by the available subject sets and featured collections, we can certainly look for it. And if we have it, we will get it to you in a custom collection. And if we don't, we can work with our publisher relations team to see if we can acquire the content that you need. And as I mentioned earlier, I do want to touch on subscription collections. We have, I think more than 20 right now that we offer. And these are an affordable way to quickly boost your ebook collection, either broadly with a multidisciplinary collection or in a specific subject area to meet whatever your information needs are. The collections range, like I said, from very comprehensive, over 130,000 titles, to much more specific and precise, between 4,000 and 6,000, 10,000 to 12,000. The collections are updated regularly, and I do, feel obligated to point out that we do have a requirement where we need to remove titles as they become ineligible through publisher restrictions, but we do our best to limit the inconvenience that causes to you. And so we schedule these removals for January and July, just twice a year, so that they are timed as well as possible with breaks in the academic calendar. The new titles, however, that we add, we do that quarterly, and it comes at no additional cost. If you're looking for some of the precise collections, we've got subjects that cover religion, education, business, history, engineering, and again, for sort of a multidisciplinary package, we have subscriptions that are focused for the academic user, for high school and K-8, for the public library market. We have these to meet the comprehensive needs for the entire library and its users. And as you can see here on the slide, these do come with unlimited user access, so every user could access every book at any time. So what you're looking at right now is a screenshot of the EBSCO Host Collection Manager, or ECM. And I want to share this with you because with the exception of custom collections and subscriptions, which are really best requested through your representative, our ebooks and the ebook collections I've gone over today, subject sets and featured collections, they can be found quickly and easily right here. You can see here on the home page that we highlight recent and popular collections. Right now we're featuring the Choice Outstanding Academic Titles collection and also our popular adult fiction and popular adult nonfiction title collections. And these highlighted collections can be accessed by clicking on the pretty little icons or by the links below. But in order to find all of our collections, you can use the menu here at the top left. So we see subject sets and collections. Collections is the ECM term for featured collections because featured collections takes up quite a bit of character real estate, so we've simplified it and just called them collections here. So once you've picked your destination out of these two, and again, just to clarify, if you're not sure which one you want to go with, subject sets are best if you're looking for highly focused, unique, frontless content. You can confidently buy the list all in one go and know you're getting new, relevant content for that subject area. But you can also select just the titles you need. And featured collections run the gamut from focused title lists on niche subjects like video game design to broader lists of award winners and popular titles. And these are often more conducive to the browsing experience and for kicking off your own search for the titles that you need. So I'm going to select collections, featured collections. And so you see here, once you've selected the heading that you want, you can use this left menu here to browse all collections, or you can drill down into the subject area that's of most interest to you. So I've selected Arts and Humanities, and as you can see here, we've got all kinds of topics under here. The theology and religion collections that we've created, the romance fiction, bestsellers, biographies, breast cancer awareness. Featured collections really are meant to hit on a lot of really important topics and subjects that just may not make sense as subject sets. So again, you can look at everything. You can drill down to a particular subject area. From this list, I'm going to pick Fine Arts just to show you what it looks like once you click into the collection you've chosen. So here, as you can see, I've got a quick summary of what's in this collection. It's got 90 titles, and if I bought the entire collection at list price, the total would be $2,657.17. So I know at a glance what this would cost, what I could do, and I know that I could also just pick the titles that I want. So once again, I just would like to thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. I hope that this has been a helpful introduction to the collection development team and the products that we create to facilitate collection development and acquisition for you. And so again, while we don't work in a traditional library, we still consider ourselves practicing librarians in this position. Our sole responsibility here at EBSCO is to very intimately know our more than 600,000 ebooks and audiobooks and organize these into collections that will simplify ebook acquisition for our librarians everywhere. And we welcome your feedback on how we can best do that. So I would like to accept any questions or comments that you have.
Thank you, Michelle. That was a fabulous presentation. We do have a number of questions for you. The first one is that it says the government keeps cutting budgets for education, so we are less and less able to buy such expensive books. Could we have just a fee per use setup?
Now, that I'm not entirely sure about.
So that's okay. What we'll do is we can respond directly to the person who put in that question, and we'll go out and get the answer to that and respond.
That's perfect. I know that we want to be able to address all of these things, but I do need to consult with sales a little bit on those sort of questions.
That's fine. We can follow up on that. The next question is, we have tried to get bestsellers and fiction from the list and have been told that we can't access them. Are there restrictions on Canadian or academic access? Is that also a question for sales?
I think I can touch on it broadly. If it's an academic user, we do have access to most of our popular fiction content. Some publishers have restrictions based on market, and we could address that again, sort of one-on-one with the customer, because they may have specific restrictions based on the country that they're in as well. So broadly, we have a lot of popular fiction for global customers, but there are still certain restrictions depending on the publisher, unfortunately.
Okay. The next question is, and you may have already answered this, but are the featured collections automatically updated with new material, or do the updates need to be purchased a la carte?
They do need to be purchased a la carte. So we try to communicate as frequently as we update them with our sales representatives. When we add new titles, we push that information out to the sales force, and we put it up on the marketing website as well so that it is available. But unfortunately, the customer will need to go and decide if they want to add those titles to their collection. They aren't like subscriptions.
Okay. Are all of EBSCO ebooks offered through YBP?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Does EBSCO have any evidence-based nursing practice collections?
We have some really great nursing collections that I do believe have evidence-based titles in them. I don't know that we have one that's titled Evidence-Based Nursing, but I would be happy to work with that customer and and identify the collections that would meet those needs specifically. And again, we could do a custom collection if that's necessary. But I know that that's very desirable content, and we have been putting it into collections as necessary.
Great. Do we have ebooks available from our featured collection for DDA model?
They should be able to identify an ECM if a title is available for that model. We don't discriminate when we create featured collections, so whatever might be available on that model will show up as available if you select that that's how you'd like to build your list. Some titles might become unavailable if that's how you select it, but we certainly do include some DDA, PDA titles in all of our collections. We have a question regarding whether there are French titles in our subject and featured collections. French?
Yes.
We typically build to the English language. However, I have been focused on some foreign language content, and if that particular customer would be interested in talking with their rep about whether they would like to see French content integrated into the existing collections, or if they would like French language only collections, I would love to hear that, because I would really like to know how we can best get the content to our non-English language customers.
Great, great. Can end users integrate into the discovery system? Are there catalog records for their titles?
That is definitely a sales question. I'm really not sure about that one.
We'll follow up with sales on that one.
Thank you.
Do you have any sense of what type of usage stats are available?
For the customer?
Yes.
No, I think I'll have to follow up on that one as well. I know that we are compliant and we have quite a lot that can be pulled, but I'm not entirely sure in what format. I know subscription reporting is a little bit different than perpetual purchase reports, so I'd like to get more information on that, and I could work with some of my colleagues to get a better answer for that.
Very good. Are textbooks included?
We have some textbooks, and we do include them when we have them, but we're still trying to negotiate with more of the textbook publishers, but we do have some represented, and again, like it sort of depends on subject, where the strengths are for that.
Okay. We have a question from one attendee that is interested in a custom collection, and the question is, how do they start? So do they start with their sales representative, and then the sales rep will come to you? Can you just talk a little bit about how that works?
Exactly. Absolutely. The best way to start is to discuss with your representative what your subject needs are, talk with them about the budget that you have available, and again, you know, any specifics, and the more the better, are what we need. And then what the representative will do is submit a form to my team that includes who you are, what the subjects are, your budget, again, any of the specifics if you're looking for particular publishers, if you need only frontlist content, if you need ebooks that don't exceed $100 per title, things like this. And then we have a 2 business week turnaround. We typically get them out faster than that, but you know, we like to say that, you know, you'll have it at least within 2 weeks. We work with what we have. We often will pop onto your institution or school website if it's available to us and just see what you're about and what your strengths are and how we can best support you, get an idea of how we can add to your collection, and then we'll build out an ebook collection that we hope will meet your needs. Of course, you can pick and choose the titles that we select for you and decide which ones you actually want to buy, but our goal is to make the entire collection useful for you.
Okay, I think we have time for just one more question, and for everyone who has submitted a question that we did not provide an answer, we will definitely get back with you. But the last question, Michelle, is do they come with MARC 21 records? Does that?
MARC records are provided.
MARC records are provided. Great. Yep. All right, so that is our last question. We want to thank everyone so much for joining us today. Michelle, that was a fabulous presentation. We will be sending out a follow-up email with a link to this recording and ways that you can contact us back if you have any additional questions. Thanks, everyone.